Stop whatever you're doing because what you're about to hear isn't just gossip, a rumor, or another Bravo recap chasing clicks. This is the headline that broke the internet. Just hours ago, fans woke up to a jaw-dropping revelation. Kandi Burruss arrested. Not questioned, not allegedly, arrested. And the reason? A single folder of evidence that Todd Tucker quietly handed over, now being called the most ruthless betrayal in Bravo history. For years, we were told the divorce was amicable, that they drifted apart, that love simply faded, that fame interfered. But insiders now whisper it was never real. Because according to leaked reports, Todd didn't just uncover lies. He revealed a full-blown performance, staged timelines, fake separation dates, manipulated storylines, and a paper trail allegedly proving the divorce was scripted for cameras, sympathy, and control. And when authorities started connecting the dots, the story didn't just crumble, it exploded. Phones started ringing. Producers vanished. Fans erupted. And Kandi? No posts, no denials, just disappearance. So the real question isn't why she got arrested, it's this: if the divorce was fake, what else was? And trust me, what's coming next makes all of this look like child's play. For years, Kandi Burruss and Todd Tucker were packaged as Bravo's perfect couple. Not loud, not messy, not toxic, just two grown adults building an empire. Or so we were told. Cameras captured smiles. Red carpets screamed unity. Interviews recycled the same safe lines. We're solid, we communicate, we respect each other. But behind that glossy image, something always felt off. Fans noticed long before the headlines. Todd slowly fading into the background. Kandi making big moves solo. Alone. Conversations where he spoke and she talked over him. Confessionals where his concerns were dismissed as insecurity. At the time, viewers chuckled. That's just Kandi being Kandi. Todd knew who he married, but now those moments look far from harmless, they look like warnings. According to insiders, the cracks didn't start with the divorce. They began years earlier, quietly, strategically, and off-camera. Sources claim that by the time the public divorce announcement dropped, the marriage had already morphed into something else entirely. Not a relationship, not even a partnership, but a controlled arrangement where image mattered more than truth, where storylines trumped honesty. Where separation wasn't an ending, it was a tool. The divorce announcement stunned fans, yet it was oddly pristine. No chaos, no public meltdowns, no dramatic accusations, just statements about growth and respect. And that calm, that eerie silence, raised eyebrows because Bravo divorces are rarely quiet. They're chaotic, emotional, loud. This one felt scripted. Questions surfaced. Why were they still spotted together privately after the split? Why were financial ties untouched? Why did timelines shift whenever clarity was sought? Why did producers guard the narrative so fiercely? And then there was Todd. Todd who stopped posting. Todd who stopped defending. Todd who stopped explaining. Sources say he wasn't healing. He was watching, collecting, connecting dots, digging through emails, contracts, dates, signatures. Moments that once seemed random now aligned. The more he investigated, the clearer it became. This wasn't a messy breakup, it was manufactured reality. Allegedly, Todd realized the divorce wasn't merely about ending a marriage. It was about controlling a storyline, shielding assets, strategic positioning, and power. And if that's true, this wasn't merely a personal betrayal, it was far bigger. When a private lie intertwines with public narratives, legal paperwork, and financial moves, it stops being drama and starts becoming a serious problem. That's when everything took an unexpected turn. Once Todd stopped playing along, the story began to crumble. What he uncovered next allegedly prompted authorities to step in. A fake divorce is one thing, but what it concealed, that's where the real danger started. Everything detonated the night Todd Tucker finally broke his silence. Multiple alleged insiders claim Todd didn't confront Kandi with rage. He confronted her with documents, screenshots, dates, signatures, a timeline that didn't match the public story. What began as private confusion allegedly escalated when Todd noticed a single detail refusing to disappear. The divorce timeline didn't match financial filings tied to Kandi's companies. Suddenly, the marriage wasn't emotional, it was evidence. Sources say Todd quietly requested documents he had previously trusted without question. Separation agreements, production contracts, filming schedules, asset disclosures. The deeper he dug, the clearer the pattern became. Public statements claimed one thing. Legal paperwork said another. And the gap between them was too wide to be an accident. The breaking point reportedly came during a private conversation where Todd allegedly asked one question. If the divorce was real, why does everything still say we're together? That's when the mood shifted. Insiders say Kandi didn't deny anything. She deflected, changed the subject, blamed timing, lawyers, producers. But Todd wasn't buying it anymore. The divorce wasn't just delayed, it was strategically staged. Then came the first bombshell that sent shockwaves through everyone involved. Allegedly, Todd uncovered that while the public believed the divorce was finalized, certain filings had quietly been postponed and refiled under different explanations. This allowed assets to shift, decisions to be made, deals to be signed, all while keeping up the illusion of separation. To the audience, it looked like two people moving on. Behind the scenes, it looked like two names still legally entangled. That's when Todd made a move nobody expected. Instead of posting everything online, he allegedly handed the full file to a third party, no blogger, no producer, but a legal source with zero interest in protecting reputations. Someone who knew exactly what they were looking at. Within days, whispers spread. Phones that hadn't rung in years started buzzing. Meetings were abruptly cancelled. Emails went unanswered. People who had once been confident in the narrative began panicking. Because if the divorce was fake, it wasn't just a lie to fans, it was misrepresentation. And when misrepresentation crosses paperwork, finances, and official records, the story stops being reality TV. It becomes a legal nightmare. That's when the first confirmation leaked. Authorities weren't just aware, they were already involved. And Kandi, allegedly, discovered it the same way everyone else did. Too late. What followed turned a private legal mess into a public meltdown. Within hours of law enforcement stepping in, the silence around Kandi Burruss was deafening. No statements, no denials, no carefully crafted Instagram captions. Just unanswered phones and abruptly cancelled meetings. According to insiders, panic spread rapidly, not just inside Kandi's camp, but across the entire Bravo ecosystem. Once investigators began pulling threads, the story refused to stay contained. Documents never meant to be compared suddenly ended up side by side. Side by side, those documents allegedly began landing on the same desk. Divorce filings telling one version, financial disclosures telling another, and production agreements quietly contradicting both. The more those timelines were stacked together, the uglier the picture became. Then came the reveal that flipped everything upside down. A leaked report claimed the divorce announcement, the one fans thought marked the end, was allegedly used as a shield, a way to move money, restructure control, and reshape public perception while remaining legally tied behind the scenes. To viewers, it looked like closure. To insiders, it looked like strategy. And the moment that report dropped, social media exploded. Fake Twitter threads lit up overnight. Wait, so they were divorced but still legally connected. That's when it started sounding intentional. Reality TV had officially crossed into real-life fraud territory. Hashtags trended at terrifying speed. Fan pages that once defended Kandi started asking uncomfortable questions. Reaction videos multiplied by the hour, and the tone shifted fast from confusion to outrage. Meanwhile, industry insiders allegedly began speaking anonymously. One claimed the storyline was protected. Another said red flags were ignored because the brand was too valuable. A third went further, saying this was never just about a marriage, it was about control over narrative and assets. Then came the moment nobody saw coming. According to leaked law enforcement chatter, the investigation expanded. What began as a review allegedly escalated into direct action. And when it did, cameras weren't rolling. Producers weren't ready. PR teams weren't prepared, because arrests don't care about storylines. When news broke that Kandi had been taken in for questioning and processed, the internet didn't just react, it erupted. Fans who grew up watching her couldn't reconcile the image. Critics felt validated. Everyone was stunned. And Todd stayed silent. No victory lap. No smug posts. No I told you so. Just silence. The kind that hits heavier than any statement ever could. And that silence revealed one terrifying truth. This wasn't revenge. This wasn't just drama. This had gone far beyond a fake divorce. The worst part. According to insiders, investigators were only halfway through the file. The moment the news broke, the internet split clean down the middle. There was no turning back. Within minutes, timelines overflowed with disbelief. Longtime fans of Kandi Burruss refused to accept what they were seeing. This has to be fake. She's too smart for this. They are setting her up. But that denial didn't last long. The other side came in loud, angry, and relentless. Fans began pulling receipts, old interviews, conflicting statements, clips where the divorce timeline never quite added up. Suddenly, what once seemed normal felt staged. Hashtags exploded like wildfire. #Kandi arrested, #fake divorce exposed, #Todd told the truth. Reaction videos blew up across YouTube and TikTok. Some creators were shaking on camera. Others were furious. One viral clip showed a fan slamming their phone down, yelling, "So we were all watching a lie for years." That single clip racked up millions of views overnight. Inside the industry, it was even uglier. Alleged insiders claimed emergency calls were flying behind closed doors. Producers demanded answers they weren't getting. Lawyers advised silence. Publicists argued over strategy. Some pushed for strong denial. Others warned that denying too soon could backfire if more documents surfaced. And then came the quiet reactions, the ones that said everything without saying a word. Celebrities who once praised Kandi stopped mentioning her name. No public support. No heart emojis. No reassurance. Praying for you posts vanished. Silence swallowed comment sections where support once lived. That kind of silence doesn't happen randomly. It shows up when people are terrified of what's coming next. Network insiders allegedly started worrying about fallout beyond one person. Because if this divorce storyline was manipulated, what else had been shaped? What other reality moments were quietly manufactured? The conversation shifted from scandal to credibility, and that shift terrified executives. Fans turned on each other. Some accused Todd of betrayal. Others called him the only honest person left. Debates turned vicious. Comment sections became war zones. He ruined her life. She ruined her own. This isn't drama, this is deception. One post went viral with a chilling caption. If this is true, the audience wasn't entertained. We were used. Meanwhile, Todd stayed invisible. No interviews. No reactions. No leaks. And that restraint only made people trust him more. Because amid all the noise, the quietest person felt like the one with nothing to hide. By day's end, one thing was undeniable. This was no longer about a marriage. It wasn't even about an arrest. It was about trust, and whether the entire reality TV machine had finally been caught crossing a line it couldn't uncross. And just when people thought the damage was done, one last detail surfaced, shifting the mood from outrage to fear. Because the story wasn't finished, and the final truth hadn't dropped yet. Just when the world thought everything was exposed, the narrative twisted again. According to multiple alleged insiders, the arrest wasn't the endgame. It was the door cracking open. Because buried deep inside the same file Todd reportedly submitted was something investigators weren't ready for. Expecting. A second layer, completely unrelated to divorce announcements or public image, emerged. It centered on timing. Sources claimed that while everyone was obsessing over whether the divorce was fake, authorities were asking a far more dangerous question: why that specific timeline was chosen, why certain filings happened exactly when they did, why major financial decisions perfectly aligned with key public moments, and why some documents appeared quietly amended after the fact. Then came the ultimate twist. A leaked note from inside the investigation suggested the divorce narrative wasn't crafted to end something. It was designed to protect something else, something that existed long before the separation announcement and continued quietly afterward. Something that demanded distance, distraction, and deniability. When that implication hit the internet, the mood shifted instantly. This wasn't about embarrassment anymore. This wasn't about reputation. This was about motive. Fans who had spent days arguing went suddenly silent. Comment sections slowed. Reaction videos stopped screaming and started whispering. Because if the divorce was a cover, the arrest wasn't about lying to fans, it was about what the lie concealed. And Todd's role? That's where it got uncomfortable. According to an anonymous source, Todd didn't uncover everything at once. He found pieces, fragments, enough to know something was wrong, but not enough to grasp the full depth. When he realized the scale, he allegedly faced a choice: stay quiet and protected, or speak up and let the fallout land where it may. He chose the latter, which raises the question no one dares to ask. If Todd exposed this knowing the consequences, what did he anticipate would happen? Shortly after the arrest, insiders claimed the investigation widened further. New names quietly surfaced, old transactions were re-examined, past seasons revisited with fresh eyes, moments once dismissed as entertainment now reinterpreted as context, and Kandi remained silent. No defiant post, no emotional statement, no denial, just a carefully maintained absence that only made the speculation spiral even harder. because silence at this stage doesn't feel strategic. It feels like containment. As of now, nothing has been resolved, no final charges, no cleared names, no official explanations, just fragments leaking out and a story growing darker the closer people look. And here's the most unsettling part. According to insiders, the public hasn't even seen half of what's inside that file, because some details weren't released for shock value. They were saved for leverage. So the real cliffhanger isn't whether this story ends, it's who gets taken down next, and whether the full truth, once exposed, will destroy more than just one carefully constructed narrative. Because if this truly started with a fake divorce, there's no telling where it stops. Now it's on you. After everything you've heard, the arrest, the alleged staged divorce, the silence, the shifting timelines, and the truth still buried, the question is no longer what happened. The question is who you believe. Was this a carefully scripted performance that finally collapsed under its own weight? Was Todd the only one brave enough to stop protecting the story? Or is there an even bigger truth still buried, one the public hasn't been allowed to see yet? Because here's the reality. Stories like this don't explode unless something goes very wrong behind the scenes. People don't stay silent unless speaking would cost them everything. And investigations don't widen unless what they uncover leads somewhere dangerous. So drop your thoughts right now. Do you think the divorce was staged from day one? Do you believe this arrest is only the first domino? Was Todd exposing deception or igniting something far bigger than anyone expected? Or launching a battle he knows will never end quietly? Scroll the comments and you'll feel it instantly. Fans are already split, emotions are boiling, and the argument is only getting started. And yes, your voice matters right now. If this story stunned you, smash that like button. If you want to stay ahead of every twist as it unfolds, subscribe right now and turn on notifications, because trust me, this isn't over. More documents are expected to surface. More insiders are growing nervous. And the next update could flip everything you think you know about this story. This channel doesn't chase rumors. We break down the moments they don't want you to notice twice. So stay right here, stay watching, and stay ready, because when the next truth drops, you'll want to hear it.